So, Paul was taking a tour through the flying city ship, traveling through space toward their new planet, their new planetary home, checking things out, getting ready to go into landing mode where they would enter the outer atmosphere and go through into landing on the planet. He headed back to control station after having helped Dr. Torvis get the ship under control. Stepping back into control station, he saw that his primary team was at stations. Ted had a slight wrinkling of his eyebrows, which Paul knew meant he had found something wrong. "What is it, Ted? What's up?" Ted relaxed his scowl and leaned back in his seat. "Well, boss, it looks like we're gonna all be getting tans down there. The surface temperature is about 120 degrees Fahrenheit, and I see no vegetation or water source of any kind. The only thing we got going for us is lots of breathable air and tons of sunshine. As far as I can tell, there is no dark side of the planet, so we won't be having any nighttime. That should keep the youngsters happy." Ted chuckled at his own joke. "We have no choice now, Ted. We have almost 3,000 people in this city, and we all need a home planet. This is the one. We'll just have to do our best and learn to prosper in the heat and the sunshine." Paul was busy checking the status of the ship's progress across the parabola showing on his screen. He could see they had made even more time than they had expected. The speed of Crystal City had increased, yet it felt smooth and stable, not even a vibration. "That frequency tech must really be working." He called down to Anna. "Just for curiosity's sake, how fast are we going, my dear?" Anna giggled back into his comm link. "I really have no idea how fast we're traveling, sweetie. Don't worry, though. Once we emerge from the end of the trajectory grid, I will slow this big girl down real fast, but so smooth you won't even know it's happening." That was your next question, wasn't it? Of course it was, and as usual, she had planned for the contingencies before he even knew they existed. Anna continued. "We've been studying the response of the gravity field to our frequency pulsations, and it seems to respond to us interactively. It reaches out to hold us and draw us into its embrace. But we have fooled the pull of its gravity by causing the frequency pulses to be only as gravitationally attractive as we want them to be. So I allowed us to be negative gravity, letting this gravity field work as a propellant as well as a navigational control. When we need to slow down, I will simply adjust the gravitational pull in all directions, which could bring us to a standstill if we so choose. However, it will also make it possible for us to drop through the atmosphere without generating heat and allow us to set down very gently with fuel ore to spare. What do you think of that, you sexy man?" Paul just shook his head and chuckled. She could never just leave the sex out of it. "I think you are brilliant as usual. However, this is your crowning achievement. You shall be granted your usual reward for going above and beyond the call of duty." He heard Anna laughing with glee as he clicked off his comlink. He would have loved to have had children with her. One of his greatest regrets in life was the lack of a son. Oh well, he had a lot of kids relying on him, so that was some consolation. The Mars colony had been an excellent place for single mothers because they could be with their children even while they worked. Most of the men in the colony had all the companionship they could handle. It was one extremely large extended family, with the women amiably sharing the time and attention of the men as they saw fit. It all seemed to work rather well. This was all told to me, of course, after I was born. And we shall find out why I was able to be born further on in the story. Okay? And by the way, the colonists became highly telepathic and ageless once they hit the surface of the planet. But that's further on in the story, and I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll be at orbital entry point in about 70 minutes, boss. You better get strapped in. We sure don't know what this big baby will do on entering a planetary gravitational field. We might just bounce like a beach ball, then start spinning, then get pulled into orbital decay and burn to a crisp on the way down. Ted was making every effort to get Emily's blood up, but she ignored him, shaking his head like a big sister disgusted with her little brother. Ted, knock it off. You're such a child. Anna has this whole thing worked out. We'll set down like a feather. Paul took his seat. Okay, you two, knock off the horseplay. We're going to have to be sharp on this one. Emily, are you on open comm with Anna? Good. Ted, are you on open link with the frequency crews? Good. Then we are set to make orbital entry. Let's get this right and make it fun. Ted, put me on citywide comm link. Ted punched up the comm for Paul. Okay, friends, we are about to enter orbit around our new home planet. It is a new and amazing place with many new and interesting things to learn about. Your part to make this a safe and pleasant touchdown, and we will all be there to work together for our new world. See you all on the surface, and may God bless and protect us all. Paul had no idea how amazing this planet would be, but he was soon to find out. Mike in engineering is on comlink direct for you, boss. Sounds like he has some trouble down there, but doesn't want to share it with anyone but you. Ted always made everything just a bit more fun with his saucy attitude. Paul switched over immediately. Mike was all business and didn't have time for Ted's kind of humor. Hi, Mike, what's up? The lead engineer's voice was steady and firm as always, strictly business. We got a problem down here, boss. Our number 3 frequency generator is overheating. The coil is just old and worn out. We're going to have to shut it down before it burns up the other 2 generators. I wanted you to know so you could deal with Dr. Torvitska. She's going to have some trouble with controlling the orbit, but we can't do anything about it now. Paul instantly went into crisis mode, unemotional, crystal clear thinking. His crew knew they just took orders with no argument when he was working with a crisis like this. They trusted him implicitly. Hold on the line, Mike. He clicked off momentarily. Ted, put me on comlink with Mike and Anna. We'll have to coordinate controls from here. Paul's comlink clicked as Anna came online. What is it now, Paul? She seemed a bit more petulant than the circumstances required. Anna, Mike is on the line with me. He has a problem with his frequency drivers. You have to readjust your equations for our orbital entry point and our speed through the atmosphere. We will hold while you calculate. What do you need to know from Mike? Anna could hear Paul's command voice and knew not to mess with him now. Mike, what percentage of frequency will we lose? Mike was prepared with answers, as was his habit. Precisely 1/3, since we lost 1 of 3. However, I can try to squeeze a bit more from the other 2 if you need it. Anna was busy calculating as she spoke. Not necessary, Mike. Paul, you have to get the population to the core of the city because in about 1 hour, the shell will superheat. Hopefully it will not rupture, but just in case, you must seal off the outer layer of living modules. Mike, you maintain constant frequency and stay in communication with me from this point. Paul, you can let me know when to take us in because now it will all depend on how fast you can get the people to safe touchdown positions. Paul responded without hesitation. He trusted his crew as much as they trusted him. Ted, put me on array again. Ted brought up the screen as Paul once again turned to address the people of his city. Hi again, folks. We have a malfunction in engineering that will cause us to enter gravity and atmosphere faster than we had calculated. Everyone please follow your breach of shell protocol and move to the core of the city, sealing off the outer section of the shell as you go. You all know what to do, so just follow your procedures and do it as quickly and orderly as I know you can. All stations check in with control when you have accounted for everyone checked into their assigned breach stations. We will be on the surface of the planet very soon, so just do your part and let's get this right. Paul kept smiling into the monitor till it clicked off. Okay, Anna, Mike, you two get to work and put this big beauty on the ground. I'm tired as hell of floating around in space. He heard a chuckle from them both. Paul, we have a solution to the superheating, but it will make most of the population motion sick. I hope they all have their motion sickness kits with them. Anyway, if we set the city into a rotation, spinning the same direction as the planet, it will draw us into the gravity field within the atmosphere in a much flatter arc. This will prevent us from dropping through the atmosphere too quickly and prevent most of the superheating of the shell. We can initiate the sequence when you give the word. Paul was quite relieved to get the message, but remained as unemotional as ever. Excellent job, you two. As soon as we get the green light, everyone to the core, I will have you initiate your sequence. I'll get back to you. He clicked off without having to remind them to stay on the line. They already knew the protocol and would do so automatically. 27 minutes later, all the breach stations had checked in with everyone in the city accounted for. Anna, Mike, you two set your sequence and initiate it. I'll inform the folks of what they can expect. Mike responded with just a bit of excitement. You got it, boss. This will be interesting to see. Huh. Interesting indeed, especially for if we survive. Ted had already put him back on array. Hi again, folks. We will be setting the city into a rotational approach. You will most likely experience some kind of reaction to the spin, but it cannot be helped. Please do your best to stay comfortable and help others who are having problems. We will be at stations till we touch down. Paul clicked off the monitor and camera himself. He would have no time for talking now. As Anna and Mike initiated the approach rotational sequence, the great crystal city began to slowly rotate on its own axis, gaining momentum till it was moving at a steady speed. Paul reached for a motion sickness kit along with everyone in control. He understood from the long hours of listening to Anna discuss her Torvian particle theory that two bodies rotating the same direction tend to draw toward each other. Rotating the city would make it possible to safely approach the larger mass of the planet, even with the loss of a third of their frequency. Paul was making every effort to control his motion sickness while he kept an eye on the shell temperature. It seemed to be rising slowly, but without a significant increase. We are at orbital entry, boss. Next stop, home base. But I have no idea how long that will be. Ted was checking in with his usual light-hearted attitude. How long it would be till touchdown was a good point. Paul was sure the rotation was getting to the people. Emily, check with stations to see how the folks are handling the rotation. Paul clicked over to Anna without waiting for Emily to reply. Anna, take us in as steep as you can without superheating the shell to breach temp. Mike, you supply all the power you can, and at the last minute fire up that third generator and Run it till just before burnout. Let's get this beast on the ground. Anna, let me know as close as you can how long it will be till we touch down. He clicked back to control and checked in with Emily. Stations all check in with no unusual problems. Most of the people took their motion meds and are either sleeping or acting very stoned. Paul was relieved, but once more he did not show it. Thanks, Emily. Monitor that for me till we touch down, please. His comm link snapped as Anna responded to his previous call. It will take us about 3 hours to touch down under the current conditions. Okay, Anna, let's get it done. Do you have any questions, Mike? Mike's typical single-word response came back. Nope.